And we're back. Good morning to DadSchooled podcast. Real dads figuring it out real well.
Real well. As we go.
As we go. So, how you doing, Jimmy? It's been a while.
It has been. We missed a week. Travels and all that jazz. It's been good, though.
Not my fault. But we're not blaming people. This is not about blaming. This is about learning and being dads, right?
Going on the journey together. That's what this is about.
Where'd you go traveling?
We just got back. Ran around Colorado for a little bit.
Colorado.
Yeah, Pikes Peak.
You ran Pikes Peak?
Yeah. No, we didn't get to the top. They had a massive snowstorm. We did the Cog Railway that takes you to the top of Pikes Peak. It's really, really cool. But they had a giant snowstorm. They had like 2 feet of snow that they were expecting. So they told us, like, well, we're only going to go up to 11,000 feet instead of the peak over 14,000. And you can get some pictures and stuff, but we're going to reimburse you most of your ticket price. So that was good.
Nice. Yeah.
But it's still cool. It was still a lot of fun.
I'm out of breath just hearing 11,000 feet.
Oh, there was definitely those feelings. Yeah. When they stopped, you could walk up to the front of the train and get some pictures out the front window and stuff. It was kind of cool, but you're on this incline. And so even that, like, I don't know, 50 yards, I was like, wow, I'm out of breath just trying to get up that ramp. It was intense, but it was good.
Yes. Every day in my stairs, I feel the same thing.
Oh, no. We got to work on that.
Okay, so what's today's topic? Today's topic is tech, screens, and social media. How to protect your kids without overprotecting. I think we can have some fun with this topic.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
All right. So, why is this important today?
I mean, compared to the avenues of information that we had when we were growing up, it's considerably different these days. The challenges and experiences and information, every angle of how you can find things and things can find you, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's definitely a different world out there today. I mean, I think there was a level of this protection that was needed back in our day, but people didn't know what they didn't know, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, but we know things today, and we know what's out there. Or we know some of what's out there. So that's why it's important for being a dad, being a parent, to be aware of these things, and not just the high level. Oh, it's scary, and they shouldn't be on the internet kind of level. It's you have to know what's out there and how to protect your kids. So there's different things you can do to help with that. Screen times, you've probably heard about that. Different social media. The social media is like, I guess, half the battle too. Are you allowing your kid to be on social media? Are you allowing your kid not to be on social media?
I like this conversation because I think you and I come at it from pretty different angles, and I think it'll be good for our listeners to kind of hear our different approaches, and then you can piece together what works for your home and your family.
All right. I agree with you on this point. Yeah. I agree that we have different opinions. Now, there's no I don't think there's a right and wrong, and if there is, no one's told us what it is yet.
Right.
It's kind of what works out for you and your family. The end result should be, I think we can both agree, the end result is to have a child, and at the end, at the finish line of being raised in a tech world, having a child that is not brain dead locked to a phone, dependent on electronics to survive in life. Is that a broad enough paintbrush we can agree on?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely agree on that one.
To not be a social vegetable. That's another one I have. Because I have a fear that my kids, even though I have the looser electronics policy, I guess I can call it, I have a fear that they will not want to socialize and they'd prefer to be on video games or devices. And then when someone tries to talk to them, they blank like a deer in headlights. Like,
I mean, I still do that as an
yeah,
adult.
I mean, yeah, but you don't want your kids to do that. I mean, I have friends who've done that, and I've had people I've known who still do that. And it's just like, my gosh, do I need to text you this question instead of asking you face to face so you're more comfortable?
Right? Yeah, I know, right? Here, we'll just sit across the table. We'll text one another while we're
Right.
having dinner, and because that's more natural these days, right?
Yeah, or you have the super smart people. I have these people in my life too. The super smart people who just have no contextual awareness of conversations around them or people in general. Now, I'm not sure if we can tie that to technology per se, but while we're in this conversation, we're going to go ahead and blame it on that. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We're not going to name names.
No, I can't name names. That's a bad idea right now.
Yeah.
So let me start off. Let's break it down to screen time in general. Okay. Screen time in general. My personal policy is I would like to have limits on screen time. My kids throughout the day, they have schoolwork. We're homeschooled. Some of our coursework is online based. We have programs that the kids are required to log onto their computer and complete the coursework. And we'll listen to an instructional video and then follow along with the instructor and mark their, quizzes, questions, whatever's in books in front of them, or sometimes they have math on the screen they got to do. So in that sense, they are on screens and they're required to be on the screens, and that's okay. It doesn't take them all day to do that unless they're really far behind and they have a really bad week. Then they are on there all one day and trying to figure it out how to get it done. But I think number wise, I probably shouldn't say what our number actually is because it is much higher. We are a gaming family, so all my kids love playing video games. We enjoy getting on games together. And that's another topic we'll talk about in a second here. So I guess we're pretty loose. I'm not gonna give a number. I'm backing out of actually giving a number.
Good.
We're pretty loose on that, and if we're not careful, it could be a large portion of the day is on screen time, and that is something that my wife and I are actively working on not having every day. Like for example, we just went out, in the afternoon yesterday after I got done with work, took most of the kids with us and played pickleball for the first time. So that's pretty cool, and with the nicer weather and not rainy, we have the opportunities to do that. So, but I'm kind of jumping around. I'm going to stop here and let you talk about your screen time and your kind of household expectations and flow.
I think kind of two things that sets the frame for our family. One, I'm that crotchety old guy that still doesn't have social media. I have a Facebook page. The only thing that's on it is a picture of me. There's not a single post. I have no friends. It's not because I haven't had invites. I'm not social media. I only turned that on like a year ago.
I'm going to stop you there. I think I am your friend on there, aren't I?
Because you requested me.
I requested. Okay, I remember because I kept on messaging you on Messenger, and you never respond. And I'm like, what the heck?
I don't use it.
Doesn't talk to me.
I never got around to it. I'm that stubborn old guy that when everyone was saying you have to do it. Now it's at this point in my life, I'm like, I don't know. It never appealed to me. I'm have conversations and phone calls in person. If you want to know my status, you can text me, you can call me. You don't need to go creep on my page to figure out what's up in my life. If you're my friend, like, let's have a conversation. I don't know. That's just the way that I ended up approaching things. So there's that half of technology in our household, and then just in all transparency as well, with my wife being a therapist, and she's been doing that for several years. She's done a great job. She does couples and families, and she's done a good handful of sessions with kids as well. She's in the business of helping people pick up the pieces when their life falls apart, and all too often, technology plays a role in the marriage, in what's going on with their kids. She sees kind of the dark side of that a lot. So maybe we've swung the pendulum really far the other direction. But it's absolutely an active conversation that we have all the time of how are we going to engage in this? How are we going to make sure our kids are going to be set up and successful and able to navigate the future world? Because the future world is getting more and more interesting, technology wise, and we want our kids to be able to navigate that. But then me being just I don't engage with tech too much, and then my wife seeing the scary side. Yeah, that's absolutely a conversations all the time happening in our home.
So does your wife engage in social media?
Oh yeah, she's got Facebook. She navigates all that for me. if we're needing to find something, hey, can you look that up? But I mean, here's the thing that I find: like, if I need to look at a business's Facebook page, like, I don't have to have Facebook to look at their Facebook page, and I don't creep on old friends or anything. I don't know. I don't. It just
The
didn't
use
appeal to
case
me.
for
I don't do that.
Facebook has never been, I need to look at this business's Facebook page.
That's what everyone always says. They're like, "No, you have to, because that's the modern marketplace. You have to be on Facebook to, like, something businesses." I'm like, I
Maybe.
don't
I don't use it
I
that
don't
way
know.
either.
I've gotten that excuse numerous times when people ask why I'm not on Facebook. That's the reason they give them. Okay.
Interesting. That it's like a whole section of my wife and my relationship, I guess you can call it, is sending memes that we find online to each other, which is really cool.
Yeah, I just text memes.
Well, how do you find them if you're not on social media?
Other places? I don't know.
It's so
Or more
weird to me.
GIFs. I just send GIFs in my conversations, or GIFs, or
GIFs?
whatever the heck.
It's GIFs. No.
GIFs. I don't
Oh,
know.
man.
Peanut butter, GIF. I send it through the phone.
Okay. I'm gonna get some Jiffy.
I'm
peanut butter
nails
here.
on a chalkboard for you today, huh?
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Okay.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. So back to times. Okay. So do you have any time blocks for your children on when they can and can't use electronics?
We haven't set up a system of times. We just have a system of no screens in rooms alone. So we have
Okay.
no screens in bedrooms. We do have a screen here in the office, and this is the only time that the screen is used is for work purposes. We don't have it for anything else. We do have another computer down in our schoolroom, and that's only for school. We have iPads, but they stay out in common areas, and they're only used whenever family is together. We don't have alone time, and then even then we are specific of um, not things like Facebook or YouTube, where you're watching or seeing whatever the computer decides to put in front of you next. That's one of my things. The doom scrolling that you get caught into or whatever. My theory is you think you might be in control of what you're going to consume next, but if all you're doing is watching or looking at as you're swiping, whatever the computer tells you, this is what you're going to see next, you're not actually in control of that. It's whatever the computer decided to put in front of you. So I'm in an avenue of following news channels or whatever that I get to a point of completion. I've read all the story that I want to read, and then I can log off, turn it off, and move on with my day. And that's the same way we have things set up with our kids. We've got some apps, things like Right Now Media, PureFlix, Up Faith and Family. There's a lot of some really good, interesting things out there that have a lot of educational content. Really, really good stuff. So much less hokey than Christian media was when we were growing up. It was so cheesy. It was so bad. There's actually some really good content out there these days, and we'll let our kids sit down and watch that sort of stuff, but we don't let them go hog wild on YouTube, unsupervised.
Okay. So on the flip side, man,
Yeah.
all the parents who are like clapping for what you just said right now are going to be like cringing what I say next. So, I'm going to tackle some of these points that you had. You had some good comments you said here, like no electronics in bedrooms by themselves. That is definitely a rule in our house. They can't take any devices up to their rooms. It's off limits. Their computers are in a schoolroom and they're facing the walls of the house, so it's very visible what they're looking at. So it's not something they're hiding behind a screen. We can see what they're on. If you just poke your head in the room, you can look easily and see. An iPad. We have two iPads, and both of them are logged into kids' accounts on YouTube. And kids, we have a couple different softwares here. We use Google Family. All the computers have primary Gmail is their main mail that they're using. So that allows me to log them into a browser with their Gmail account on Chrome. It's a special Avast antivirus browser that blocks a lot of stuff by default. And then I can turn the security settings down. And then I can also hook that into Google Family, which gives me another program I'm going to talk about, which is Bark. Bark monitoring. I have a Bark app and a Bark account, and you hook up your kids' Gmails to that. And with the browser, you're able to actually get alerts whenever they search for something that they shouldn't search for, or if it's something that's too violent or whatever. You'll get a phone alert. I get them all the time for my kids, and it's usually like how to kill the Ender Dragon on Minecraft. And I'm like, stupid alerts, you know? But it gives you good visibility into what your kids are searching. Like sometimes they're on YouTube, and there's a YouTube thing to look up for. You know, my girls are really into Roblox and building houses in Roblox and building villages and stuff. So they're always looking things up. So I see what they search. I can look that up on this app, which is kind of cool. I also have an app, the Xbox app on my phone, because our computers are Windows based. I can use the Xbox Family app to control screen time and content based on their Windows login. So I can set a time on my phone for each individual kid's profile, including our Xbox, which is used as well. And they can't at 9 o'clock. What is it? Let me think here. I think it's 9 o'clock Sunday through Thursday is their cutoff for bedtime. So the device will actually shut off, and it requires a parent to extend the time or log into the computer after that. And then Saturday and Friday and Saturday, we give them till 10 o'clock, a little extra. They have a lot of friends from co-op that play video games as well. So there's a program called DadSchooled. DadSchooled is a communications, I'm not going to call it social media, but it has social aspects to it. You can create chat rooms.
Online community almost.
Yeah, it's an online community. It's a program that allows you when you're playing a game to jump in a voice call with all your friends and play the game. So it's like a group call kind of thing, and that it is really like it can be dangerous. Like I'm not naive to that. Luckily, I use it a lot with my own gaming experience, so I understand how to use it. So what I did was, excuse me, all their friends, like they'd jump on a call together. They have different, things they do on there. I didn't like that, so I kind of forced my kids to only connect into one, and that was the Rad Fam server. So
there you go.
We have our Discord server that I'm the administrator of. I think some of their friends, one or two of their dads, is also on there. So I don't think they know how it works very well, but at least they're on there and have visibility, so they can see all the things as well as I see. But then all their friends are invited, and I have it locked down. They can't invite people themselves. They can jump on, they can chat. So that allows me to see all the different channels they're in, and if they're talking inappropriately, I can monitor that kind of stuff. So it's really, it's not a control thing, but it's a safety thing. I don't want them to be doing stupid things. But kids will be kids, so you just gotta also allow for that. But this is a safe place, in my opinion. So it's something that I control. So that's something to think about when you're designing your own rules and settings. There are ways you can be administrator over an account and see what they're doing, and if your family is allowing certain things, then you got to take those steps to be careful. And I don't think of it as being like an invasion of privacy, because they're my children and they're not adults. And until they're adults, I can see whatever they're doing, and that's my right and what I should be doing.
You purchased and provided the technology. That's
Yes,
you hold the
exactly.
reins on that. And I think the
Exactly.
big key on that whole thing is you're active, you're involved, you're plugged in. You're not just setting them up with a window into who knows what and just say, okay, go be free, go encounter whoever approaches you randomly online. I mean, I know the
Absolutely.
odds are small, but if you're in those kinds of communities where any random stranger can find your child, connect with your child, start a conversation with your child, um, again, I know odds are small. Chances are, oh, it's not going to happen. And there's a lot of families and go, look, my kid came all the way into adulthood and they didn't ever have an encounter like that, and it's easy to brush it off. But um, the key, I think that's great, is that you are still active, you're involved, you're observing, you're checking in, you're having conversations with your kids, and I think that's great. And I think that's absolutely healthy.
Well, I'll take it one step further too. Like I said, we're a gaming family, so they play games, and I'm going to correct what you just said there. It is absolutely imperative if your kids play games online that you have any kind of gaming account that they have, you have, and any kind of game that they're in, you need to understand it. You need to know what goes on in that game. There are certain games I won't let my kids play. I actually did a little bit of alpha game test development for companies way back in the day. I haven't done it for a while. I'm kind of doing it for a game right now, long term, but I'm not getting paid for it. In the past, I've gotten, I've actually reviewed games and whatnot for companies, and I have free copies of them from that. So, like, for example, I remember when Minecraft was in development. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I had a test copy of that a long time ago before Microsoft bought them when they were back in Mojang Studios and whatnot. There's a game people might know called Fortnite. I tested that one way back in the day, and then I got a copy of it, and I had early copies of that game. Player unknown. What is it? PUBG. I don't know what it actually stands for anymore, but a long time ago, I tested that one as well. Lots of games I've been around, and some of these are AAA big titles that are esports competitive titles now. Sometimes those communities, like I'm not saying currently right this second, right now, because it has changed. I do know that early on, some of those communities were very toxic, very bad comms would have communications, any kind of voice chat in the game. And recently they've with this whole protect your mental stability that everyone's going to with games and life in general. They have added some features into games allowing you to turn off the voice chat finally, which is nice. So that's like what I'm getting at long term. Be involved in the games, know the games. All the games that my kids play, they know the rules of we can't just have friends. We got to ask dad if we can invite people or whatnot. And I can see all their friends in the games. Any voice chat or text chats get turned off immediately when the game starts. It's not something that is on. Any kind of, it's called VoIP, voice over IP in the game, so you can talk to people while you're playing. That is not allowed. That's turned off. And they're pretty much locked down to only playing with their friends. Like if it's a certain kind of game that does have internet public access, there are certain ways if they're allowed to play with that, they can't communicate with people, and I make sure of that. One exception to the whole, we always see what they're doing, which is not really an exception, but it's kind of a scarier leap, and it's hard to navigate as a parent. VR. Our kids have VR systems. They've saved up for them and bought them with their own money on some of them. Some of them we bought for Christmas for them. So we have 4 VR headsets in our house, and the kids love getting on and playing together. It's great, and it is really fun to have some of those games they play, and their friends have some and they play with them as well. How do you navigate that when you can't see what the kid is looking at? Okay, so my answer to that is, like I said before, be involved in their accounts. Like, unfortunately, I'm going to call Meta out here. Meta is terrible with this. I created an account and I set it as an adult account, which sounds backwards because if you set it as a kid's account by like law and by all the legal stuff that they deal with games, it actually restricts your kid from playing with other friends almost. Like if they have a friend that plays with a game, they can't even connect to them because all the restriction settings, they can't search for people. People can't search for them, things like that. So it's really a pain. So what I did, if you just create an adult account and lock it down and only have 2 or 3 friends that they know, and you monitoring the account actively and you know what they're doing, because there's a phone app and you set these devices up, you have to use your phone to set it up. So when they're playing the game, I can actually click on my phone and I can not only see what they're doing, like what game they're in, I can actually click a button and see what they're seeing on my phone. It casts it to my phone so I can look at them playing the game. Now they'll know I'm doing that because it'll be a little bit jumpy for them, but I can check in anytime I want. That's something I really like about that. But Meta, in all their greatness, they have algorithms that kind of figure things out based on how you play games and how you act, I guess. And they sent emails out a while ago to me saying, we realize this is not a parent. This is a kid.
I've heard of this. Yep,
and
I've heard of this.
You have 30 days, you have like 20 days or whatever to migrate your account to a kid's account, or we're going to delete it. And I'm like, okay, we're forced now. So 2 of my girls have the younger girls. They are not of the age of 13. 13 is the magic cutoff. So my oldest son, he actually is able to have a adult account, and I still monitor and it's still locked down on my phone, and I can see everything. But my girls, unfortunately, are in the kid realm with that, so it's kind of a pain. Like a lot of the things are locked down. I have to approve every single little game they do. I got to approve it, and it's like some games are so bad on I guess the rating scale that they use, and it's a really it's basically on social media. So like maybe they're doing it right. They're trying to do it right. I guess they're trying to at least stay within a box, but it really limits you on how you play the game. For example, there's a game called Yeeps. Okay. And it's like basically you're running around, you have big arms, like monkeys running around, and you're playing hide and seek or tag or whatnot. There is a talking aspect which you can turn off. You just mute your microphone and you won't hear them. You can turn it off. But you have to, have a certain account level to and play that game. So it's a struggle sometimes. But the whole point of this rambling session I'm having here is be in your kids' games and understand what they're doing for their safety and for your understanding. If you're just saying, "Oh, my kids are playing games and it's fine," they're responsible. They're not. They're not responsible. I have tons, just from what I do, I have tons of invites all the time on their accounts that I'll log in and just deny, block, because some game industry accounts like EA Online, Xbox, even Xbox. My 6-year-old has a 6-year-old profile, and everything's hidden, everything's blocked, and everything is locked down for him for sure on Xbox. I still log into his account and I see all the invites that he does not see on his screen because it's locked down. But there's like 50 or 60 people. Want to be my friend? And it's not, as far as I can tell, predatory, because he just plays he plays either Roblox or he plays Rocket League like crazy. He's good at Rocket League. But in there, you play a game with somebody and you find a good player, you'll hit their little icon and say be friend. That's harmless enough, but it's not what I want my kid to be doing either. So he doesn't need a bunch of online friends. So I delete them. block.
Yeah. Good.
Anyways.
Good.
Into speech.
Yeah. And I think the big thing is also just modeling the behavior that you want to see your children live out. And I mean, that's one of the ones that we struggle with as parents is we don't want our kids to be slaves to the screen and locked in, and only that's the only conversation interaction they ever have is through digital media. But if that's all they ever see me and their mom doing is we're just always sitting on the couch with our little black box in our hand, scrolling away, typing away with other people and not engaging with the people who are face to face with us in the room, then that's what they're going to learn by observing, oh, this is the way to navigate life, is not through eye to eye, face to face contact. And so we have to make sure that we're reminding ourselves, like, hey, let's make sure we're staying engaged with our kids. Let's keep those relationships strong, foster that connection, and that'll hopefully set them up for success down the road. It was great getting to go on this trip. It was a short trip to Colorado. Like I didn't listen to a single podcast. I didn't watch any videos on anything. Not because honestly, I wish I could say it's because I chose to like do a digital fast or something. We were just go like the whole time, and then I was driving, and when you're driving you can't like watch or scroll or anything. You can't do any of that.
You guys drove there, right?
Yeah, we drove.
So that's what, 2 days?
No, we did it all in one day. I mean, one day to drive there and one day to drive back.
Okay. And so, but in the car, what did you guys listen to anything in the car? Just music or nothing?
Yeah, music. We bring bags full of books, coloring books, activities, and then eventually
while you're driving.
We do have an iPad that then eventually the girls will get out an iPad and they'll watch stuff. But it's not a whole lot. Actually. Okay. And specifically for this trip, we told them we're in the mountains. You haven't seen the mountains, like no books, nothing, just enjoy the view. And we talked, like it was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have a trip coming up. We have a trip in a week. We're going with you, teaching diligently. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Going to Branson for a week. But we're trying as a family to come up with some kind of fall trip. We're still trying to figure out where to go. Wife is trying to maybe plan out a race, and it blows my mind. Like she's just like, I think I'll run, a marathon. It's like, you do that but we did a lot of running. Like she, not me. She did a lot of running last year. Like three or four or whatever races. That's a lot. Training up for those and traveling. So this year we've been pretty relaxed so far. But I think I personally like to take a trip sometime this fall. Trying to figure out where still. I would love to go Grand Canyon, but that's just my personal
That would be cool. Yeah, that's a bucket list item right there.
Yeah, but I think if you get into the fall, I'm not sure what the mountains do with snow. And I've drove. I've been over.
They get it.
Yeah, I've gone over those mountains at least three times. 3 times, 3 different roads actually, 3 different highway passes over there, and every single one of those is scary at some point. And every single one of those, I don't want to encounter in any way, shape, or form of snow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we lived in Colorado almost 13 years, and the thing that we learned for that state, at least, is in the wintertime, they rely a lot on winter tourism for a big piece of their, their tourism income, and everything is a big piece of what goes on in that state. So they take good care of the roads. Now, if it's a massive storm as it's coming in, you don't want to be on the roads, but they clear them out pretty quick. So
interesting. Yeah.
Snow happens, but they try to deal with it as fast as they can.
Yeah. I mean, I'm born and raised Midwestern, so we get snow too. It's just not like Colorado does.
We get the ice, man. The ice is bad.
And those twisters.
Yeah, those are fun.
All right. So I think for now we've beaten this horse. Takeaways, Jimmy. I think let's recap.
Takeaways. If you would like more pointers from my point of view, don't hit me up online because I won't see it.
I will see them.
You can drop a comment and we'll absolutely engage with you there. But yeah, if you want to call or text me, if you're one of the lucky few that have my number, absolutely, I'll have a conversation with you.
I mean, you're borderline Luddite, Jimmy. Honestly,
close.
Borderline. It's like a Luddite that got handed a phone. He's like, "This is pretty cool."
Yeah. No, I absolutely, I use technology every day. Even in my work, like I use it all the time. It's the interactions with strangers part. It's the strangers that I'm cautious about.
Yeah, I can see that, and that is the hard part. Like you said, Modeling. Go back to that for 1 second, I guess.
Sure.
It's really hard for me to say, don't use computers or don't use screen time, right? And then I go to work as a software engineer.
With 6 screens in front of you.
Yeah, I have monitors for days in this room. And I'm like, kids, don't use computers too much. You don't want to be like, Dad, do you? And they're like, yeah, we do. This is awesome. And then their mom, my wife, she runs some blogs and she has her own YouTube channel and she's very successful with that. And they see that and we have times where we have to stop talking and let her record something. So I mean, it's like our family is very tech mess that word
savvy.
Tech. Our family is very tech savvy, technologically driven. You know, we have a lot of things that we do technology wise. So it's hard, but there's a way to balance that, I feel. And that's what you have to do as parents. You have to, like you said, watch out for contact with outside world. You know, that's like the main points you should be focusing on protecting your kids from, because once they go past that screen, you don't know who's on the other side. It could be 9-year-old Sally who you think is talking to your kid, or it could be 90-year-old Jeff who should not be around kids at all. Okay?
And I think, you know, I was saying earlier, my wife being a therapist, it's those kinds of stories are the ones that end up in her office, are the ones that the parents didn't take the due diligence and the time that you have to dig in, to know what's going on. For me, if it was, because I don't understand technology, like I'm not super great at it, but if my kids pressured me into, hey, all of my friends do this, buy me the thing, okay, I buy, and this is the story that happens in so many homes across the country. Okay, I'll buy you the thing, create your account, okay, go in, and then the parents are completely hands off and no idea what's going on, and that's where I think a lot of danger creeps in. But you help model that parent that understands how computers even work. Like, I don't get it at all. And by having that layer of technology mindedness, you have great tools and capacity of yourself to help put up those guardrails that your children need, because we don't trust them to just go willy-nilly, no holds barred, anything goes. Like,
no,
that's not going to end well.
Even if they say, I got this, when has your kid ever said, I got this, and it worked out well for them? I'm sure there's examples that you can go, but like, there's always something that they don't understand. And even if you yourself, as an adult, and have the mental capacity to understand complex things like computers and how things work in the real world, it doesn't mean your kid fully grasps what can happen to them. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Like you said, friends, peer pressuring on parents is a real thing. Like, you know, parents talk in a group, and we see this all the time. You know, oh yeah, my kids love playing this stuff. I don't understand any of it. Blah blah blah. How many times have you heard that? Like,
oh yeah,
that's
too often.
That's great and all that you're admitting your faults, but get into it. And if you don't understand it, learn. If you don't know how to learn, find somebody who does and can tell you. So on that, if you out there, any of our 3 viewers, if any of you don't understand what your kids are into with technology, or you have questions about screen time or different applications that I mentioned, I'll try to find some place on the social medias and post the links to more information on the apps I talked about, like the Google Family app, the Xbox Family app, the just different things. I'll try to find some information, put it on there for you. But go to our Facebook page, DadSchooled Podcast. Go to our YouTube channel at DadSchooled. We're a lot of places. Our website has everything, dadschooledpodcast.com. If you go there, you can find all information about us. You can contact us. You can go to the very bottom, fill out the contact form, ask questions, leave comments. But we're here to help. Well, at least one of us is here to help you with contact on social media and other questions you might have. You won't hear from Jimmy because he does not monitor such things, but I will collaborate with Jimmy via old carrier pigeons that he uses. and smoke signals, and we will talk about whatever you send us before we send back a very heartfelt and meaningful ChatGPT curated reply.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, adds that personal touch.
That's right.
But anyways, yes, I think we call. Okay, what can our viewers, our multiple viewers, what can they do this week? What can we have them do?
Engage with life. Yeah, just let us know how things are going in your own life. You got anything going on with technology, any hiccups or just dad fails, dad wins? Let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, we love hearing about your failures. To this date, we have not had that one amazing listener response that made us like, we have to put this on the air. So we're still waiting for that amazing story that's going to catapult us into internet famedom, internet greatness.
Yes.
And obviously we have run out of amazing things to say on this podcast for this episode. So
yeah,
I'd like to thank all of our massive amount of listeners out there today. And please stay tuned for our next episode where we're going to talk about homeschool dad rants. Funny rants about homeschool pet peeves. This one could be dangerous for us as homeschool dads, especially me. But we're going to do it anyways because it'll be fun.
It's going to be good.
So that's another question. Are we going to have an episode next week? Before we
because we've got the conference and travel and all of that.
I'm leaving Wednesday, so we may or may not have one before we leave. We'll see.
Yeah. Everyone just watch and wait.
Stay tuned. It'll be an adventure. And we might pop on for a quick hello during the conference. We'll just, I know this whole episode we're saying, watch the screen time, but definitely the next week watch the screen time and watch for us on social media.
Watch for updates.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. And
see you. Take care.
See you next time.